Welcome back to our video series where we rank the best new roller coasters that opened in a specific year. This is the 13th video in this series, meaning it's time to rank up the new coasters that opened in the United States from 2013. Wow, we're only a decade behind now. Soon enough we'll be talking about the coasters that opened up this year, but probably not until next year. Anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves, so here are the top 10 roller coasters that opened in 2013. We survived 2012, so that means we did all that YOLO stuff for nothing. But, lucky for us, a total of 27 roller coasters were built in 2013. However, as always in this series, we only rank coasters that were newly constructed for each season. So you will not see coasters that were relocated and opened at a different park in 2013, which shrinks that list from 27 down by 10 for a total of 17 possible choices. And our rankings are based on how coasters operated at the time of their opening year. So if they've become rougher or had modifications since 2013, that will not play a role in how they are ranked today. On that note, we have an honorable mention before we kick off the countdown, which is Coast Rider at Knott's Berry Farm. Fortunately for Coast Rider, because we rank coasters based on how they operated in their opening year, it might have ended up as a dishonorable mention because of those painful shin guards they added a few years ago. It's also rather lackluster with all the trims. But visually it did do a decent job at filling a void left by Perilous Plunge, even though it doesn't make us wet. Number 10 is Freedom Flyer at Fun Spot America in Orlando, Florida, which is your standard Vekoma suspended family coaster. Standing at a height of 64 feet and reaching a top speed of 32 miles per hour along a track length of 1,296 feet. But what's up with the yellow and blue of the coaster and logo? It makes it look like it's themed to the Los Angeles Rams.
The Rams were still in St. Louis in 2013.
Good point. Well, it is interesting to see a coaster themed to freedom in the state with the least amount of it. Perhaps that flyer part is that you have to fly out of Florida to get more of it. Anyway, at least there's this cool Power Ranger holding an American flag. At first we thought this coaster at number 9 was themed to the band Tool and their debut album from 30 years ago. But alas, Undertow at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk is themed to the undercurrent that moves offshore while waves approach the shore. Thanks for clearing that up, Wikipedia. It replaced Hurricane, which closed the year prior. Built by Mora Rides, Undertow is a mildly intense spinning coaster that stands at a height of 50 feet, reaches a top speed of 40 miles per hour, over 1,410 feet of track. It's also the unofficial coaster of metal bands. Number 8 is Smoky Mountain Alpine Coaster in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Jesus Christ, another Alpine coaster?
I don't think Jesus Christ had anything to do with this. And Alan Schilke never worked for Weekend.
Hey Chris, why did Jesus rise?
Why?
Because his body is bread.
Dude, can we go back to the list now?
Yeah, sorry about that. Where was I? Oh yeah, Smoky Mountain Alpine Coaster. The ride is nearly 4,000 feet in length and has a top speed of 27 miles per hour. It's especially awesome at nighttime with its LED lighting package of more than 300,000 lights. In a region now completely oversaturated with mountain coasters, Smoky Mountain Alpine Coaster is by far the best one. Number 7 is a coaster that took 7 years to build and open, and that's Flying Turns at Knoebels. Based on the rides of the 1920s, it is similar to the steel bobsled coasters of the 1980s, but made of wood.
Wood.
Construction started in 2006, and the first test runs were performed in 2007. But there was an initial issue with the roller coaster's car's wheels. However, after being replaced, the trains were traveling too fast. We visited Knoebels in 2008, and it sat there sad and empty, just like we are. Anyway, it wasn't until 2011 when the new trains were tested, and then 2 more years until it finally opened. It was almost as if Intamin was behind it and not built in-house by Knoebels. The ride experience is super fun and unique, and it feels as though you've stepped back in time, which is fitting for a park packed full of historical rides. Unfortunately, we're back in Florida at Fun Spot America for the number 6 coaster of 2013. But at least it's a good ride. It's White Lightning, designed by Jeff Pike of Great Coasters International. This out and back Woody stands nearly 70 feet tall, has a drop of more than 67 feet, reaches a top speed of 44 miles per hour, and has a track length of 2,032 feet. It features multiple bank turns and curves, a GCI staple besides the out and back design. White Lightning would later become the testing grounds for Great Coasters International's Titan Track, where 50 feet of steel track was installed into the second half of the ride in 2020. GCI to GCI before RMC'd and RMC. Snaking its way into the number 5 spot is Iron Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. While much better than the original Rattler by RCCA, we aren't the biggest fans of this highly overrated hybrid conversion by Rocky Mountain Construction. With that, we do appreciate Iron Rattler's incredibly beautiful layout perched high on top of the quarry wall. It also has one heck of a curving first drop of 171 feet, reaching 70 miles per hour. But the pacing is totally killed by an incredibly slow and boring section after the 0G roll. It almost feels like a pre-lift section. The ride does get good again with another dive off the quarry wall and through a tunnel along the side of the wall, but then you quickly slam into the final break shortly thereafter. At 3,266 feet in length, it's rather short for a coaster of its height and speed. Compare that to 5,080 feet of the original Rattler. Though highly rated in the community, we really think RMC could have done a lot more with it. Which takes us to another ride that is also short in length and accelerates past Iron Rattler to the number 4 spot. YOLO Coaster, formerly known as Full Throttle at Six Flags Magic Mountain. When it opened, Full Throttle had the tallest vertical loop in the world at 160 feet. And its last element, a top hat, runs directly over top of that massive loop. It begins with a launch directly out of the station at 70 miles per hour before traversing the record-setting inversion. The train slows to a crawl at the top of the loop, and riders experience what is likely the longest and best hang time of all time. Then, a low-to-the-ground right turn follows into a left turn as you climb up the Magic Mountain hillside, which takes you into the ride's second inversion, a dive loop, which has you dropping into a tunnel previously used as a station for the park's defunct monorail system, Metro. You'll come to a complete stop momentarily before train conductor Ozzy Osbourne yells, The train then launches backwards, partially up the dive loop. A back row ride is a must for this reason. You'll take the tunnel once more and be launched out into a left turn and up the 164-foot tall top hat on top of the loop. But just like that, the ride will be over as you slam into the brakes on the descent from the top hat. Despite that, and a short ride, we still love Full Throttle, and it's more than a one-trick pony. Flying in at number 3 is Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. This B&M wing coaster not only beautifully frames a park entrance, it's one heck of an underrated ride. The POV seriously doesn't do it any justice. It starts off with a 170-foot tall lift hill with a wing over drop inversion at the top, the highest inversion in the world at the time of its opening. We love riding in the back row on the left side as you rotate up and around the track before dropping 164 feet. A max speed of 67 miles per hour is reached at the bottom of the drop, and the pullout leading into the Immelman loop is super intense. Gatekeeper's other awesome elements include a giant camelback hill which gives some sweet floater airtime, the kind that B&M is known for, as well as a giant flat spin over the mid-course brakes which gives a nice head chopper effect. But it's not as awesome as what's to come. As the track elevates above Cedar Point's main gate into a 0G inversion, you traverse 2 keyhole elements which give some of the best head and leg choppers of any coaster we've ever been on. Then an incline dive loop which turns the train back towards the station, followed by even more head choppers as the inline twist passes by the keyhole towers. The ride finishes with a low-to-the-ground downward helix before a small hill into the final breaks. Thankfully, this Gatekeeper to a Raptor doesn't meet the same fate as this Gatekeeper to a Raptor. Gatekeeper has one of our favorite B&M layouts. It is a stunning mix of intensity and gracefulness. It's hard to believe that it isn't loved by more coaster enthusiasts. With its high capacity, it is rare to see a long line. Well, more rides for us. California's Great America struck gold when they gave us Gold Striker, which has been dug up at number 2.
I love gold!
This Great Coaster's International Woody gave the park something it didn't have before, a good Woody. And it's one of the most intense and thrilling layouts of any GCI wooden coaster, full of sharp turns, steep drops, and plenty of airtime moments to provide an exciting and adrenaline-pumping ride. In addition to that, because of noise concerns from the adjacent business complex, the coaster has several full tunnels, roofs, and walls which run alongside the track, which gives a feeling of increased speed. This includes the first drop, something you don't see often, outside California at least. In our opinion, it is much better than Mystic Timbers, which opened 4 years later. Once California's Great America closes later this decade, we hope Gold Striker is rebuilt at another Cedar Fair park. And stealing the number 1 spot as the best roller coaster that opened in 2013 is Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City. 2 years after blessing the world with their first coaster, New Texas Giant, Rocky Mountain Construction built this completely ground-up wooden masterpiece using their newly innovated topper track. Outlaw Run is nestled in the beautiful Ozark Mountains, where its track weaves through the natural landscape, offering riders absolutely stunning views during the ride. And due to its location, the night rides are out of this world. It's another one of those coasters where the POV just doesn't do justice. We went in not expecting much, and were totally blown away by it. After climbing up a lift hill of 107 feet, the track drops slightly left before rising up and then down the first drop of 162 feet. After reaching speeds of 68 miles per hour, you enter an element not previously seen on a wooden coaster before, a 153-degree inverting overbank turn. Then, a low-to-the-ground high-speed bank turn leads into a series of back-to-back crazy ejector airtime moments. These moments of airtime are even better than Steel Vengeance. There's another bank turn, this time high off the ground and through the structure of the lift hill, which leads into another element previously not seen on a wooden coaster before, a wave turn that provides lateral ejector airtime. Just listen to these upstops. And even with all that, the standout element of Outlaw Run is its upwards double barrel roll inversion finale, which provides a disorienting and exhilarating moment as the coaster flips riders upside down twice before hitting the final brakes. It might perhaps be the best finale on any coaster we have ever been on. And even though it's a wooden coaster, we didn't find Outlaw Run to be a rough ride at all, thanks to the topper track technology from RMC and Silver Dollar City's maintenance team. It's no surprise that our number 2 coaster from RMC tops the best coasters list from 2013. Okay, that's gonna do it for 2013. Did any ranking surprise or upset you? What would you change in your own ranking? Let us know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and support ACN by subscribing to our channel if you haven't already, as well as turning on notifications for new uploads. Your likes, shares, and comments help us grow the channel and are greatly appreciated. Next month, we'll rank the top 10 coasters that opened in 2014. Thanks again for counting down with us, and we'll see you in the next one.